Hey, Robert Kiefer here with Hydro Hero, and I want to take a moment and go over some past jobs. And I'm going to put out a lot of videos like this showing kind of typically what we go through in these crawl spaces and then the final transformation. So we're going to jump right into this right now. This is a crawl space that we did a few months ago. So you can see all the water that's pulled up around the foundation wall. Now this is very typical of what we see every day. So water comes on the outside of this foundation wall. The rain saturates the soil, and then it goes down underneath the footer and then back up, and that's what you got here. And that typically leads to flooding out the crawl space, high relative humidity, mold growth, damaging the HVAC. We're going to take a look at that right now. So here's some more water that's pulled around the foundation wall. In this particular one, it came all the way through around the foundation wall everywhere, and that's pretty typical of most crawl spaces in our area. But look at the HVAC duct line here. All right. So here's water. Now we had to pump this out. We had to have our truck mount pump this out with a couple different sub pumps as well. So the water line was way up here, right? You can see the efflorescent salt, and we'll talk more about that in a little bit. But the water that came all the way up here, you can see this HVAC lines laying in the water. The humidity is so high, the tape broke loose, right? The insulation's falling off. The mastic had worn out. You can see cracks in the HVAC here. And what's going on is every time this HVAC system kicks on, all those little openings that are everywhere, because this isn't sealed properly anymore, all this air where this mold is just growing everywhere down here, and bacteria and all kinds of stuff from animal droppings and everything gets pulled up into the HVAC system and then throughout your house. So that is a major reason why encapsulating and waterproofing your crawl space, and there is a difference, why both of those measures are so important to keeping the crawl space dry and improving your indoor air quality when you encapsulate. So again, here's that same area. Here you can see this water that's left. And again, we pumped this thing completely out. This is how much water just instantly came right back in after we've pumped so much water out. Like I said, you can see the water line that was originally all the way up to there. So there was quite a few feet in this crawl space. So you can see there's the efflorescence. This isn't mold. This is a mineral deposit that's left from the water seeping out of the block, trying to reach a new equilibrium, and what it leaves behind is this mineral deposit. Now, inside all these blocks, so the water comes around that foot, down underneath that footer, like I said, and it wicks into this block through what's called capillary action, right? So inside each one of these cells, if you ever seen masonry block before, you've seen they either have 2 or 3 holes. So you're going to have a hole in every cell, right, plus the mortar joint. And when you drill those holes in there, water shoots out like a water fountain. I'm serious. It's pretty crazy. And that drains all this out from the block, so the block doesn't deteriorate. It goes into the drain tile that we'll have dug and installed there, and then takes that to a sub pump and pumps it away from your foundation underground. And that's waterproofing, and that will keep your crawl space dry from a bulk water standpoint. You still have to deal with the humidity, and we'll talk more about that as well. But you can see how nasty this crawl space was, how bad the water was in there. Again, our guys are starting to dig the trenches here. You can see them instantly fill up. You can see that water line, how bad it is there, right? Goes all the way around here. You can see that there's an attempt to put a sub pump there, but we got the lights up in here. We started on the remediation, I believe, at this point. And I don't think we've done the stain removal yet at that point. This is an older job, so. But so your condensate pump had been standing in water completely out. You can see that the main HVAC line, even though that it was hung, the water was actually higher, and this was sitting in the water. So this HVAC system may be completely ruined. All the ductwork and insulation HVAC companies come in to replace. but all this is completely ruined. If you haven't replaced your HVAC system ever before, I'm telling you, it's expensive. It is very expensive to get a new HVAC system. And so many houses, the HVAC system is in terrible condition because the crawl space hasn't been waterproofed and encapsulated properly, or at all in most cases. So here was an attempt to put a sub pump in. So basically they drilled some holes around the bottom. They dropped a sub pump in. There was a hose that came off here, and it just sat there. But the water, because there's no drain tile, you guys might call it French drain, but the proper name is drain tile, installed around the perimeter and then put into a proper basin with a sub pump that's properly installed, the water couldn't make its way to this. So if you just drop a sub pump without drain tile to direct the bulk water to the sub pump, it's not going to find its way there. If you put it at the lowest point, right, that's only going to get a little bit of water. It's not going to do the job efficiently. That is just an awful way of trying to control some bulk water that's just going to fail every time. So don't let a handyman talk you into that, plumber or anybody. Call a real waterproofing professional, and we'll put in a real dewatering system. So over here, not much to see. The digging out is starting here after we pumped all this out. If you can just imagine all this damp, nasty soil, all the mold growth that was all over the floor joists, and how destroyed the HVAC duct lines in system was. All that rotting organic matter, insect droppings, everything, just all that going up into the crawl space air and then being sucked into your HVAC system and distributed through your house. How nasty that really is, and how bad that can affect your health. So encapsulating your crawl space and waterproofing it properly, putting in the proper environmental controls is really going to improve your indoor air quality. So if you got nasty smells, you're getting sick all the time, you haven't dealt with your crawl space, we definitely want to talk to you and give you a number at the end of this video. But you can see the water again. This is a different section, how it accumulates underneath the footer and comes back up and rises in there. So we're going to get drain tile installed there. So it's basically a void, a pipe, right? So you dig down next to the footer, you lay a couple inches of gravel, you put in a pipe or some other tubing that creates a nice void. You pitch that down to a sub pump, and as it rises up, it goes into that tube, directs it into the sub pump. The sub pump then pumps it underground, away from the foundation. You want a minimum of 10 feet, by the way, and we try to always do even further. Here's another section of where that's rising up in there. This is what happens in all crawl spaces that have water intrusion. This bulk water intrusion comes right up underneath the footer. Sometimes it comes through vents and stuff as well, but this is the #1 spot all the way around the foundation. So every time it rains, this is what's going on. And many customers say, oh, our crawl space has never been wet before. Well, I doubt that when it rains that the first thing you do is crawl down in your crawl space to see if there's standing water. So I challenge you to do that. You're going to find a lot of this and see that your problems are way worse than what you think. So you can see the tape here that's just coming off. All this is just, being destroyed. It's not being energy efficient anymore because the R value is being lost in the insulation as it's deteriorating. So this is just leading to more costly damage that's going to have to be fixed on top of the waterproofing and encapsulation. So you really just don't want to wait for it to get this bad where you're having to do a mold remediation, a waterproofing system, an encapsulation system, and replacing your HVAC system. So the earlier you move on fixing your crawl space, the better your indoor air quality, the better the efficiency of your house, and the more money you're going to save by not having to replace things. So here is a huge piece of concrete that was left down there. This is very typical for us to have to deal with, and we'll break that up into chunks and haul that out so we can grade everything properly. But again, you can see that water coming up underneath the footer, right? Got to get that drain tile in there all the way around and directed to proper sub pumps and get that pumped out, or that problem will never be fixed. So you have some encapsulation companies, they don't do any waterproofing. They don't put in any drainage system. They just try to put in plastic liner, right? Well, that liner is called a vapor barrier. It's meant to stop vapor, right? It is not meant to stop bulk water. It's not a drainage system. So you pay a company that just does encapsulation to put down vapor barrier with a water problem like this, then all you're going to have is a encapsulated crawl space with all this water eventually breaching the tape and then sitting on top of the liner. You're going to have a flooded crawl space still. So the drainage system is extremely important. It can be added later. It's a little bit more costly, should definitely be done in the beginning so you have that peace of mind, but it can be added later. Here's another section of that HVAC system. You see that where the water had came all the way up. So this was just sitting in water for years and years and years, and people have been breathing all this in that's coming. As you can see, this isn't sealed properly anymore. So that HVAC kicks on, boom, all this goes right into the HVAC system and then into your living space. So again, got to really, really get your crawl space taken care of. Here again, HVAC main supply lines laying in water. What do you think that you're breathing in? It's horrible. You see just not much room to work. You see the staining left from the mold remediation. So then we have to go back over with a mold stain remover to get the wood to return back to its normal look. So we'll come out of here real quick. So I'll show you what this, again, we'll just recap that, what this crawl space, see how nasty this is, all the issues that it has, right? And I'll show you what it looks like at the end here. Let's see which one this was. And so here is the final encapsulation that we did. So there's drain tile now underneath this liner all the way around the foundation, dug underneath there, and that's taken that to the water that comes up underneath that footer to sub pumps and then pumps it away, keeping this crawl space nice and dry. We've pulled up the duct lines and secured those high off the water in case something ever failed. The HVAC lines wouldn't be affected again, and a licensed HVAC contractors come in to replace all that and do some repairs on the HVAC system. But here's our dehumidifier, the April Air 1850. These April Air dehumidifiers are just phenomenal in what they do. So we're ducting the dry air to the other side of the crawl space, balancing all that out, and making sure that this runs even more efficient. This gets a 5-year bumper-to-bumper warranty. These things they run forever, though. I mean, they're just fantastic. This self-cleaning condensate pump. This allows us to take the water to the exterior any way that we want. We don't like them to be gravity-fed personally, so that's why it's not led right to the sub pump. But this is a sub pump that all the drain tile is connected to, and it goes in there and then it's pumped up out of the crawl space and then goes back down underneath the ground and then away from the foundation on the exterior. So again, this nice and clean crawl space now. So this is the work that we do. This is, I believe, our 37 mil that we did there. But you can see how nice all that looks now. I mean, this is a huge improvement. So you can imagine what the indoor air quality was before we started this project, and then after we finished it, what the indoor air quality is like now. So major difference. A great investment this customer made for the health of their home. So they stopped wood rot and wood decay and structural problems, protected their HVAC system, and then overall is protecting their family's health as well by not breathing in all that terrible organic matter and droppings and bacteria and mold and everything else that was down there. So that is all I have for this video. Drop in the comments if you like these videos that I'm doing now. I will do a ton more explaining what we're running into. We'll take you in the beginning of our jobs, what they look like, and then all the way through to the end. And we'll also bring you a lot more videos like this explaining things like the stack effect and how mold affects your health, and doing some interviews with some key people as well. That's all I got for today. Thank you so much. And if you would like us to encapsulate and waterproof your crawl space, or you have any type of water damage or mold remediation that needs to be done, please contact Hydro Hero at waterandmoldpros.com or call us at 302-321-7077. And if you're watching this on Facebook, please hit the like button and share. Again, drop some comments. If you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe to our channel. We greatly appreciate all that you guys do, and have a wonderful day.